I believe that I can say without equivocation that the Knicks are playing the best basketball over 11 games I've ever seen.
You've ever seen?
Over 11 games, yes. You can't beat opponents at playoff on the road the way that they're winning. Road playoff games are hard to win. Over the last 11 games, look up for me the numbers on just their last 6 road wins.
Chris is here.
The last 6 road wins, what is the total number of points that they've won by? Because we can diminish this if you want by saying, well, they're doing it against 4, a 6, and a 7 in a weak conference. But they're not playing close games. Like what they're doing is they are totally beheading teams.
161 total points in the last 6 road games, an average of 27 points per game. That's a mollywhopping.
WFAT.
Per Tim Bontemps, the Knicks have
sir.
now outscored their opponents by 262 points across the last 11 games. This is the best point differential across 11 games in NBA history, regardless of whether it's the regular or the postseason.
See, that's where it doesn't matter who they're playing, because we could talk about the Boston Celtics from a couple years ago, and oh my God, they had the easiest run in the finals. Star player was absent from every team they faced. They weren't doing this to teams. Like, if it was so easy, they would have done this. The Knicks are killing these teams.
But the numbers that he just gave you there, keep in mind, when other teams have done something like this during the regular season, they're playing bad teams, not bad playoff teams, bad teams. The Knicks, what they are presently doing has changed my mind over the last 3 years. I have thought you cannot win if Jalen Brunson is your best player at that height. That player at that size doesn't end up winning the championship. But numerically, the sport has changed so much that the Knicks have now changed my mind on that. I do believe that they can pose a set of problems to both OKC and San Antonio that they too haven't seen, because when they make 18 threes and a half against Philadelphia, that beats anyone in the sport.
So the question I have, all of that considered, is where do you then place Mike Brown and this coaching performance that he's had, not just in the stretch, but you leave Sacramento, you're down bad, you get fired, and now you do this, and you make a significant coaching change in the middle of the playoffs when you're down to the Hawks?
Their bench is a good deal better. They had last year with Thibodeau. I know it's an easy narrative with Thibodeau, and a lot of people seized on it, but I believe the guys they were using off of the bench the last few years aren't even in the sport anymore.
You're right.
And what they have coming off of the bench now doesn't quite make them OKC scoring 74 points off the bench in Game 3, but makes them formidable from 3, which is where you have to be in the modern age. OKC, look, they have not faced a top 5 defense. That's what they're going to see in the next round, no matter who emerges from the next round. But they can also be a top 5 defense. Their perimeter, you really do have to salute that management team around James Dolan, that they've covered up the stink of James Dolan with the moves that they've made. You can question all you want the Bridges acquisition, but the Knicks fan believes in playoff Bridges. They believe that that's something that's real. And the thing that they have, Landry Shamet's 11 for 12 from 3.
He's Ray Allen now.
So when you say the Knicks fan believes in playoff Mikal Bridges, you're saying you believe in playoff Mikal Bridges.
I do not yet. I have not yet come around on Mikal Bridges, but I do believe they have more ways to beat you offensively than most teams. Their best offensive game ransacks these teams. I had not admitted to being a Knicks hater until 11 games ago. It was literally 11 games ago when they lost that game to Atlanta that I, for the first time, admitted, yes, I'm a Knicks hater. I got joy simply from their suffering. It wasn't even happiness for Atlanta. It was just seeing that happen to loud Knicks fans. And since then, they've been the most overwhelming basketball team I've ever seen. Because you guys are talking about the Celtics from a few years ago. That's not what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking about the Warriors of Steph Curry that were winning 73 games and were beating everybody by double digits. These point totals are lunacy.
And it's not just the 11 straight wins and killing all of these teams. Their only 2 losses of the playoffs are by shots right before the buzzer. They lost. They're so close to being 14-0 this postseason.
Playoff wins are hard to come by. Road playoff wins are really hard to come by. And the way they're doing this is not normal. But I do want to give an award, because we're not going to be able to talk about them for a while, for most delusional organization in the history of sports. Because it's not just Kenny Atkinson doing this foolishness earlier in the series when they were down 3-0.
Analytically, I think we won the I said 3 out of 3. We're 2 out of 3 in the expected. I don't know if you guys follow that. Is it like an expected score? And we won 2 out of 3.
I don't know if you follow that.
Analytically, they are champions. Put it on the poll at Batard Show. These are some real loser quotes here, because that's not even the worst of it. James Harden, I really do feel like James Harden should have tried to sneak out of a side door, some sort of special portal that they put into his contract so that he would not have to talk to the media. But he said the worst possible thing.
Obviously they dominated us 4-0, but yeah, I don't know if I can necessarily answer that question. Just because genuinely I do feel like we are the better team, but series-wise, it didn't show it. So tough question to answer.
I mean, at least Donovan Mitchell after the game said we played like ass. We were ass out there. James Harden standing up there with a serious face saying we were the better team when you lost 4-0 and you lost all the games by 1,000.
But, let's be real. James Harden is trying to solidify the bag. We're the better team means keep me on this roster. Keep me paid. The continuation of the James Harden finesse is undefeated.
I don't know how you can have as successful a season as they had and end with such loserness, because they would have been better off losing in the last round than the way that they went out here, where they just smear Harden at the end. And after blowing a first game, unlike any first game or any playoff game that's ever been blown, up 22 with 8 minutes left, something that never happens, they never stopped collapsing after that. They lose by 11 in overtime, and then they're just terrible the rest of the way. Just from being up 22 with 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter, they just kept choking. It's not just choking those 8 minutes, not just choking in overtime. They just kept gagging as if they had their souls ripped away. And it's why I would simply say to you that the New York Knicks have never in my lifetime, I was alive in 1973, but I was 5 years old, okay? They've never felt as good or as hopeful as they do right now.